Here's the harsh truth about Alabama football, and nobody's going to bring this up or talk about it because they're not a realist. I like to live in the real world. I like to look at the cold hard facts, and that's what I'm going to do. I can't believe I'm the only one who is looking at it from this standpoint. Oh yeah, I can't forget to mention and bring this up. Alabama fans, they're wanting Nick Saban fired, and no, it's not a joke. Mwah! Why don't we start off this video with a fun fact? The last time Alabama under Nick Saban had 2 regular season losses before the Iron Bowl was all the way back in 2010. In that year, I remember it like it was yesterday. We lost a hard-fought game to South Carolina on the road, and this is back when South Carolina was relevant and good when Steve Spurrier was there, and we also lost to, guess who? LSU at LSU. I wanted to start off the video by bringing that up first because this season 2022 is reminding me a lot of that 2010 year. We'll talk about that a little later, but, and I have a big but, the main topic of this video is the harsh and coldest truth about this Alabama football team. We're going to talk all about it, and you know how I am on this channel. I tell it how it is. Let me make this extremely clear. I don't want to make this video, but I got to. Do you think I want to talk bad about my favorite college football team? No. I'll go as far as to saying this. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year that Alabama would have 2 losses before the Ole Miss game, I'd have said you're on drugs or you're crazy. I told you guys all in the offseason and all throughout this year, I had Alabama win the championship. As we all know though, unless some miracle happens, and believe it or not, there's still a chance that Alabama can make it to the SEC championship game, that's not going to happen. Oh yeah, I can't forget to mention and bring this up. Alabama fans, they're wanting Nick Saban fired, and no, it's not a joke. Yes, that is right, you heard me correctly. Not Bill O'Brien, not Pete Golden. Everybody knows they want him gone, but Nick Saban. I'm trying not to explode here. I don't want to get too amped up, but I will address that. We've got a lot to talk about and go over. We're not doing no intro, none of that. If you like college football, consider subscribing to the channel. If not, that's cool too. All right, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. You know what? Why don't we just start out hot and take a look at this juicy stuff first? Check out what this Alabama fan had to say on Facebook, and it got over, I've never had Facebook, but I assume in the bottom right corner, that's 243 likes. I could be wrong on that, but I see the like button, so yeah, it looks like other people agree with this for some reason. This Bama fan stated, I've been an Alabama fan for 32 years. This team is embarrassing. We clearly aren't a good team. Bryce Young is overrated. Our defense is overrated. Our team is average at best. Nick Saban should be fired right now. I speak for every Alabama fan. Okay. What do y'all think about that? Let me address this, and you're getting my live reaction because I haven't even read it up to this point. I see where you're coming from when you say this Bama team is embarrassing, although I think you're wrong. That's your opinion. And also saying we clearly aren't a good team. I disagree with that, but that's also your opinion. But here's where you overstep your boundaries. When you say Bryce Young is overrated, that's just a flat out lie. You're a motherfucking idiot. Bryce Young, the best quarterback in the country, the same guy that carried Alabama to the championship game last year when if they didn't have him, they would have went 8-4. Bryce Young, the Heisman Trophy winner, is overrated? Come on, man. Bryce Young is the definition of a special and rare athlete, and if you think this Alabama team is embarrassing and they're quote-unquote average, just wait till he leaves. Okay, let me calm down. I don't want to explode. Like I said, it's not good for my health. Anyways, continuing along, saying the defense is overrated. I agree. Our team is average at best. I disagree with that, but here is the controversial part. Nick Saban should be fired right now. I speak for every Alabama fan? I'm going to address this. If you don't listen to a single other thing I say in any of my videos, listen to this. Do y'all remember all throughout last year, in this offseason, and all throughout this year, when I say that I hate Alabama fans because they're some of the most entitled and spoiled people on this planet? I know a bunch of you watching this, you remember that. And that statement holds true even till this day. And what you're seeing happen is those sad individuals, those sad Alabama fans, their true colors are coming out. A wise man once told me that your true colors are revealed through tough obstacles and adversity. I believe that 100%. Anytime something bad happens to somebody, that's when their true colors are going to come out. I also firmly believe this. It's not what happens to you in this life, it's how you respond to it. Applying those analogies to this situation, you're seeing how these Alabama fans, these sorry and sad individuals, are responding to this. Let me make this clear, by the way, before we go any farther. I'm not talking about every single Bama fan. My true Bama fans, which is probably 95% of you watching this channel, watching these videos, I love y'all. Most of us, not every single one of us, but 9 out of 10 people that watch this channel, we're true college football fans, and we tell it how it is. I absolutely love my true Bama fans and my true college football fans, and y'all know this. Maybe some of y'all are this way, and it's not just Bama fans. fans, I can't stand being around people that as soon as your team makes a bad play or as soon as they're down by 14 points, they're like, oh yeah, game's over, we suck. I can't stand being around those people. You're not a true fan. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I guarantee you, whatever team you root for, you have people like that in your life. Bama fans are just like that, but it's enhanced. It's on a completely different level. For example, a Tennessee fan in the past couple of years may have seen their team losing by 20 points and say, okay, yeah, this game's over. We just need to get ready for next year. But Bama fans, whenever they lose, whenever they're showing in a game, the first thing they want is for somebody to be fired. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They've been wanting Bill O'Brien fired and Pete Golden fired since last year. And I'm going to be completely transparent with all of y'all. I've said it all year. I'm going to stand by it. I don't understand the Bill O'Brien slander. Does he make some bad play calls here and there? Yes, but who doesn't? You're not going to call a perfect game every single game. To me, if you want to fire anybody or even have a conversation, Pete Golden, yeah, that might be the guy you want to look towards. I'm with the jokes and whatnot. I even joke about Bill O'Brien and Pete Golden on Twitter. For those of you that follow me on Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. But on a serious note, I don't think it's Bill O'Brien's fault we're losing games. On a serious note, I also don't think it's Pete Golden's fault necessarily that our players can't tackle. Nick Saban said something years ago and it resonated with me. He stated that having a good offensive coordinator and a good defensive coordinator, it matters, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what play you call, it comes down to execution. That's what I believe. So instead of pointing the fingers at Bill O'Brien and Pete Golden, I point the fingers at the players. Let me ask you a question, Bama fans. Is it Bill O'Brien's fault that our wide receivers drop passes? Is it Pete Golden's fault that our defensive players can't tackle? You can draw up the best play in the world. Alabama late in the fourth quarter against LSU. It was 3rd and 7. Pete Golden called a good play on defense. We had a middle linebacker in position to stop him, to tackle him, and he didn't tackle him. I apologize for the rant. I could talk about that for hours. Here's the last thing I'm going to say about Bama fans. In this life, you see this with businesses a lot. You can be a victim of your own success. That's exactly what's happening with Alabama. The standard has been set so high where if you lose a heartbreaking game on a last play here and there, you suck. I want y'all to think about this. If Bama lost the way that Clemson did, oh yeah, totally different conversation, but they didn't. 2 of Alabama's losses are on last-second plays. Whoa, I get it. I know what y'all are about to say. Well, Matt, they could easily have 2 other losses, and I agree. I'll tell you all day long that Alabama, this team, we haven't been as dominant, but I'll also tell you this. You can't win every single game. You can't win a championship every single year. I want to point back to this and throw it all the way back to 2010. This was, nobody talks about it, but one of Nick Saban's most talented teams. This is back when Greg McElroy, he was a quarterback, and also we had Julio Jones and Mark Ingram. Oh, what's that? I almost forgot to mention, we also had Trent Richardson, and he was a monster at the college level at least, and Eddie Lacy. I'm not going to talk about every single player, but when it comes down to offense and defense, one of Nick Saban's most talented teams, no doubt about it. And this same team lost to South Carolina by 18 points, lost to LSU by 3 points, and lost to Auburn, in which was the quote-unquote comeback. That's when Cam Newton was there, and they overcame like a 24-point deficit. The reason I'm bringing up this 2010 year is because it's no different from this 2022 year. In that year, 2010, Alabama had not 1, not 2, but 3 losses in the regular season. Nobody back then was talking about, oh, Nick Saban, he's probably just a one-hit wonder. Oh, this Alabama team, they're embarrassing. Oh, this Alabama team, they don't have the grit and blah, 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 blah. Nobody was calling for the jobs of the offensive and defensive coordinators. You know why? Because back then, Bama fans were realistic. They looked at what I like to call the cold, hard facts. Back then, Bama fans said, hey, South Carolina on the road, a top 20 team, yeah, we didn't play good, but got to give credit to them. Tip your cap. They also said, hey, playing a top 10 LSU team, ironically enough, they're ranked 10 just like this year, losing by 3 points. Yeah, we didn't play good, but LSU, they're a good team. And they also said, hey, yeah, we should have beat Auburn, but they're a top 2 team in the country. I bring all that up to say this. I would tell you, you guys know, I would tell you firsthand, if I thought we sucked, if I thought the Alabama dynasty was falling off, if this team's embarrassing, I would tell it how it is. Here's the harsh truth about Alabama football, and nobody's going to bring this up or talk about it because they're not a realist. I like to live in the real world. I like to look at the cold hard facts, and that's what I'm going to do. I can't believe I'm the only one who is looking at it from this standpoint. Alabama didn't play bad against Tennessee. Tennessee played a great game, and it was in Neyland Stadium, a toxic and hostile environment. Tennessee, at this current moment in time, is the #1 team in the country. Granted, yes, they will fall, but they're not going to fall below 6 or 7. In my humble opinion, I got Tennessee at #2, but we'll talk about that in a different video. You lost on a last-second field goal. It happens. Moving along to the LSU game, I didn't think Alabama played bad. They only had one interception. LSU played a great game, and they won on a last-second 2-point conversion. Once again, I'm going to reiterate this. If Alabama lost to Tennessee 52-20, if Alabama lost to LSU 32-7, 32-10, yes, I would push the panic button. But we lost on last-second plays. There's nothing to panic about. The dynasty ain't falling off. Now, will it fall off eventually down the road in maybe 8 to 10 years? Yes. It's not a if the dynasty will fall off. It's a when. It's only a matter of time. The truth is, and it's so simple, and it's also so sad, I got to say this because everyone else isn't realizing this, you can't win them all. And I get it, Alabama fans. That's hard to accept because you have won them all and you have won most of your games the past 15 years. But you just got to come to the terms with, hey, losing 2 games in the regular season in the past 15 years is not a bad thing. And by the past 15 years, I mean this has only happened twice in the past 15 years. You get what I'm trying to say. Here's the bottom line, and we'll end it off here. Alabama is a good football team. They're not a great football team. They're a good football team with a bunch of great players mixed in. They're not a collective unit. You don't feel and see that cohesiveness. Georgia, on the other hand, you feel it and see it. Here's a fun fact for you. Georgia doesn't have a single player they got from the transfer. Now, Georgia didn't get a single player from the transfer portal. Maybe that has something to do with it. I'm not going to dive into all that, but everyone out there, quit freaking out. I know you like to see Alabama lose, and I know Bama fans, it's hard, but it's not the end-all be-all. You can't win them all. I'm very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below.